Good morning and happy Friday to everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Let's go to the word today. It is Eidolon, an idolized person or thing, a specter or phantom. Marilyn Monroe was once the Eidolon of Hollywood glamour. That's our word of the day. Let's go to our heat map, S&P 500 heat map. We got a little bit of a bounce back this morning from the pullback yesterday. Microsoft, all the tech names seem to be up. Healthcare, biotech seems to still be working. Financials are bouncing back. Energy is kind of a mixed bag. And industrials seem to be doing well. So that's kind of a look at our heat map. If you're worried about a heavy sell-off, a recession, hard landing, what have you, this is what we recommend. If you spent a lifetime building up your wealth and don't want it to turn into 2008, where a 401k turned into a 201k, well, you could roll over your money, get a 25 to 45% bonus, still participate in the market. When the market goes up, your account goes up. When it goes down, it doesn't go down. So that is what this is, and it beats index investing by about 5% per year. So if you want to learn more about that, feel free to reach out to us. So let's go to our charts. This was trending yesterday, Elastic. Their earnings came in at negative 5% from the year ago quarter at 21 cents. And they are currently, looks like, pulling back a little bit from yesterday. Strong move, but it does look like it's pretty close to a breakout here. Just kind of draw the line. For some reason it doesn't want to, the line is a little slow. So you can see right there, broke out above this line. That fits with your investment objectives. You could do a little more research. So let's go to our dollar index. Dollar index was jumping this morning, big time. Gapped up above all the moving averages. So you can see that was a pretty big move, up 0.81%. Likewise, silver and gold were falling. Silver fell below the 20-day moving average. Gold falling below all the major averages, 10, 20, and 50. We'll look at our copper pricing. It's falling as well. Take a look at a few of the stocks. This one is fighting to stay in its trading range. Tech. And actually trading pretty tightly. It's pretty interesting. Finally, FCX. And that is falling, gapping down. Let's go to our bond yields. Bond yields are jumping. The payrolls kind of filled this gap over here. Payrolls were much hotter than people expected. They were expecting 188,000, and I believe it came in at 212,000. So that was much higher than people expected. So the bond yields have jumped a little bit. I think earning of the interest rates remain where they are. They're not. So the big 70% guess that they were going to lower interest rates in September may be off the table. So we're at 4.42% interest on the 10-year. On the 20-year, we jumping as well. Big gap up. We'll see if it fills this little gap over here. The VIX, interestingly, was falling earlier when we looked at it. yes, it is definitely falling. Retracing a little bit. S&P 500 sold off initially, and it is recovering nicely, up 0.26%. The equal weight is pretty flat. The NASDAQ is up slightly, 0.37. The equal weight of the NASDAQ without the big cap tech is pretty flat, much like the S&P 500. Take a look at the Dow, which has been the weakest index. It's up slightly. And IWM, it's falling with that yield, putting pressure on those type of companies. So that is the story. Now let's go to our news. News breakdown. Breeze. Q1 adjusted EPS 5 cents, beat the estimate of a negative 5 cents, and they were expecting a negative 10 cents, up 62% at 51% earnings surprise. Their stock is up about 2%. Vail Resorts, EPS $9.54 fell short versus the estimate of $9.97, but it's trading pretty flat. Earnings were up 17% year over year quarter. And actually, I guess you can't really see because this little black marker is in front of it. It has fallen 11%, 11.4%. AVO Q2 adjusted EBITDA, $20.2 million, beat estimate 10.15 million. Tried to move higher and it is pulling back on 1,000% earnings increase. That's pretty amazing. 500% earnings surprise. I would just kind of watch this for the next couple of days. DocuSign. Q1 mixed as adjusted EPS 82 cents, beat 80 cents on revenues of 709.6 million. Initially sold off because I think the valuation had got ahead of itself. It's been in a kind of a rough patch pulling back, and it really sold off, and it's trying to fight back, down 4.27%. On to Tilly's. They're off about 5%. Q1 adjusted EPS 48-cent loss versus estimate of 46-cent loss, down 5%. On to Zumiez. Pretty flat. Tried to break out, pull back. It's right in the middle of the trading range. 86-cent loss, beat versus estimate of $1.15 loss. So that's why they tried to break out. So I would, just put this on your watch list. Earnings were up 10%. And finally, NX. Quanix Building Products. EPS of 66 cents, beat estimate of 53 cents, and it is rising. Earnings were kind of flat. So the stock is up a little over 3% today at 31.40. So that's all of our news for today. Here's what is moving up 10% on 200% increase in volume, up 23.5%. Oddity Tech, Israel-based company engaged in the online retail sale of cosmetics and beauty supply. It's a pretty good volume here. Started the volume ticked a little higher yesterday, and it is surging today. Acaro Therapeutics is up pretty okay volume, but it's up 8% today. And finally, MBLY Global, electric semiconductor fabless, up a little over 11%. Look at these last 3 days, just keeps increasing the volume. Looked like it broke above the 20-day yesterday, and it is now surging above the 50-day. So I'd keep this on the radar screen. Not sure if this is really a breakout yet. If you draw a line like this, it is. Take a look at what's up 5% on a 100% increase in volume. Some of the same people are in this category. We got Argon up 10%. Earnings are up 263%. Buy below. Bouncing off of that big sell-off yesterday, up 5% today. Jill is gapping up, and it is almost to the profit zone, up 10% today. Earnings are up 21%. This is our little box area. This is the Nicholas Darvis box. It tried to break out over here, did a pullback, kind of a base on base. And here is a breakout right over here. So this is Jill, operates women's apparel brand through omni-channel and retail stores. Earnings came in at 21% above year-over-year quarter, up at $1.22. So that's what's happening there. We haven't, let me just take a look at our cryptocurrencies. Let's stop the share here. Go. It's kind of doing the same thing as it did yesterday, kind of fell off the roof. Let's see if this is going back for a bigger pullback. And then let's take a look at Ethereum, kind of doing the same thing. Big pullback in Ethereum, reached a high of 38, 30, 37, and now it's pulling back to 37.69. So that is our look at cryptocurrencies. Let's go back to our screen. So this is MicroStrategy. A little bit of a pullback. Earlier today it was up around 17.14. So it's pulling back a little bit to all of our moving averages. Not really doing anything there. Video continues to pull back. I believe today was the stock split after the close. Did pull back and now it is bouncing up just under 0.5%. Elf Beauty pulling back to the 20-day moving average. Like I said, this was a cup here and it looks like it's developing the handle. Was up a little earlier and then it traced after it got close to its 10-day moving average. All these small cap stocks are being affected by the rise in the bond yields. So Dutch Brothers is off close to 2% today. A bit of a pullback here. But it's 4 was moving up earlier in the day. Look at that strength. Had a 1-day pullback to the 10-day moving average, and look at that gap up and move. That's pretty amazing. So we had taken profit. We had 370 to 75. We had actually 70 to 75 spreads, option spreads, and we took off 4 of them. When it got up to 71 the other day, we still have 3 of them, and we have the other one at 62.50. So we'll continue to hold that. Let's continue on here. We added TTD in one of the accounts earlier this week. Trade desk broke out here. It's pulling back a little bit. Maybe it'll pull back to the 10-day moving average. Lift got a little bit of a lift this morning. Tried to move up yesterday and it pulled back. I think the bond yields kind of moved that back. They said the ridership was going to be a little stronger than they anticipated. So I think that's why they moved up. Denison Mines pulled back to the 50-day moving average. So that $2.50 short that we have on this is working out okay. Lower continues moving on up the ladder, so to speak. You just see buying, buying, buying. The volume isn't the highest yet, but it's kind of breaking out, and we got continued buying there. Kava Mediterranean Grill bouncing back a little bit today. Gets up to 85.60. Not going to do anything there. We'll see if it hits our covered calls at 100. CrowdStrike bouncing a little bit. Pulled back yesterday. It is up a little over 2% today. So just holding that call option that we have at 320 on CrowdStrike. Look at the other aviation, aerospace companies we have in the portfolio. A little bit of a pullback to the 10-day moving average on Aero Environment. FTAI, about the same thing, pulling back to the 10-day. Almet, which we did ditch a couple of days ago, is hanging right in there. That will wrap up our review. We got one more. Forgot about you, NetApp. Sorry about that. And they are holding right in here at 120. So that will wrap up our review for Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. We'll have our weekend review this Sunday. So look out for that. In the meantime, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Continue going out there working on your goals and your activities and keep surprising yourself and everybody around you. Have a great weekend.